return to the place where it all began this season, but things are a whole lot different now that they were the first week of the season. It's the Twins and the Tigers in Detroit for the start of a 3-game series. Over the last 2.5 weeks, Minnesota has the best winning percentage in baseball. The Twins have won 12 of their last 16, 75% of their games in that span since April 25th. Kyle Gibson had a rough outing here at Comerica in his first start of the season, but he has been fantastic since then, hoping to pick up his 4th win of the season. Alfredo Simon goes for Detroit. He had won each of his first 4 starts of the season, but he struggled in his last 2. He'll be starting against the Twins for the 2nd time in his career. Hello on a very chilly, breezy evening here in Detroit. I'm Marnie Gellner. Twins are back here at Comerica for the first time since the first series of the season. That's when the Twins were swept in 3 games and scored just 1 run. But my, oh my, how things have changed since then. Let's look at the series setup. Twins and the Tigers both have winning records more than a month into the season, and that has not happened since late in the 2010 season. So this is a relevant series once again. These teams have been heading in opposite directions offensively. The Twins are surging, and the Tigers are sputtering over the last couple of weeks at the plate. Tonight, Kyle Gibson is going to try to keep Detroit's bats at bay. Gibson is not allowed a run in 17 consecutive innings. That is the longest active streak in Major League Baseball. Gibson's personal longest streak is 22 consecutive scoreless innings. That came in June of last summer. Dick Bramer and Roy Smalley. Gibson said at the start of this season he was looking for consistency. That's what we've seen out of Kyle in his last 5.
With the exception of that first start here in Detroit, Marnie, you're absolutely right. A lot of people in Minnesota and a lot of people here in Detroit are wondering why the Twins have been able to stay within a game of the Tigers. The big reason is pitching. There are 2 starting pitchers in uniform here tonight with an ERA of under 3. Both of them are in a Twins uniform, Mike Pelfrey and Kyle Gibson.
Kyle Gibson has big league stuff, and he has the kind of stuff that if he finds consistency, he could be a 16 to 20 game winner. What's been the difference these last 5 starts? He's throwing all 3 of his pitches, fastball, slider, and change, 4 strikes, a predominant amount of time, and he does it in different and varying counts, so he keeps the hitters off balance. He ought to be this kind of pitcher with this kind of stuff. If he can throw it over, that's what he's been doing.
Well, we'll see how Gibson fares here tonight. We think we'll have a very interesting ball game for you. It's also the first night of the Twins broadcast auction, and for a detailed list of the items up for bid here tonight, let's go to Jamie Hirsch.
Presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Jeep. Come discover great deals during the Jeep Drive and Discover event. And by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Aaron Hicks is with the Major League club, called up with Shane Robinson going on the family emergency list. Minimum of 3 days, maximum of 7. So Aaron Hicks, who deserved a shot. That's one distinction from his major league stays the last 2 years. He was hitting the ball very well, playing very well in AAA, so he gets another chance, and he's in the starting lineup and playing in center field. The Menards batting order: Brian Dozier, Torrey Hunter, Joe Mauer, Trevor Plouffe, Kurt Suzuki, Kenny Vargas, Eduardo Escobar, Aaron Hicks, and Danny Santana. The Twins were last in Detroit. They were swept and left town with a lot of questions. They hope to make a statement or two in this series. First pitch lifted foul and out of play.
On the mound for the Detroit Tigers, Alfredo Simon has pitched 3 really terrific ball games, a couple of clunkers lately, but he's got good stuff.
And Dozier takes high, 1-1. Twins are outscored 22-1 in the season opening series. And the Tigers came to Minnesota, won 2 out of 3. Twins kind of gave away the last game of that series. Popped up, back and out of play, 1-2. Dozier and the Twins had a day off yesterday here in Detroit. So too did the Tigers. Tigers might have needed one. They had a rain-delayed Sunday night game with Kansas City that they lost in extra innings. Poke to the right side weakly, and Cabrera calls for it. Dozier retired, 1 away. Plan for defense for the Tigers. Yoenis Cespedes is in left. Anthony goes in center field. J.D. Martinez in right. Nick Castellanos at third. Might be the best fielding shortstop in the American League. Jose Iglesias back in the lineup tonight. Ian Kinsler at second. Miguel Cabrera at first. And James McCann behind the plate. John Tumpane behind the Detroit catcher. Cruz Guccione, James Hoy, Bill Welke, rest of the umpiring crew, and Torrey Hunter takes a strike. Torrey backs out of the box. He heard something and looked into the Tiger dugout. I can't imagine former teammate or somebody yelling something from the Tiger dugout. Can you?
I heard someone yell, "Hey, hey, hey, hey," and I think that's what. And Torrey didn't know where it was coming from.
0-2.
There's a split finger from Alfredo Simon. He's got 5 or 6 pitches. He'll throw a fastball, a cut fastball, a couple of speeds of breaking ball, split finger. He's got them all, and he's likely to throw them at any time. There's the split again, and it's a good pitch. That's his best pitch. And you'll watch the bottom drop out of this pitch right here. It comes out of his hand looking like a fastball, and then just keeps biting down.
2 quick outs, and now Joe Mauer. Right-handed batters have had a real tough time with Simon. He's giving up just a 122 batting average to right-handers. Left-handers, however, hitting 323. Mauer, the first left-handed batter that Simon will face. And it's a fastball off the plate.
Scouting report on Simon says even with all those pitches, he will get wild. He can get behind hitters and come in with a fastball in the middle of the plate. Hitting coach Tom Bernansky thinks the Twins are going to get plenty of hit pitches like that one right there to hit if they're patient and hit it when they get it.
1-1. And Mauer lifts it foul over the Tiger dugout. Who would have thought this when the Twins left town after the first series of the year? The Twins have scored more runs than the Tigers. They were outscored 22-1 in that 3-game series. Right now the Twins are 5th in the league in run scoring. The Tigers are 9th. 1-2 to the Twins first baseman. And a half swinging win. A very good first inning for Alfredo Simon. Kyle Gibson hoping for a good first inning in the bottom of the first. Out on the mound, making his second start this year against the Tigers. He pitched the third game of the season here and was able to get his first start underway after a rain delay of 3 hours and 36 minutes. No such delay here tonight. We're ready to go with Anthony Gose in the box. First pitch to left, and Escobar has to reach with that ball slicing away from him. One pitch, one out. Brad Ausmus saw his team get out to an 11-2 start. Even Bert can do the math. Since then, they're 8-11. And here's his Menards batting order. Gose already retired. Ian Kinsler batting second. Miguel Cabrera hitting third. Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, Yoenis Cespedes, Nick Castellanos, James McCann, Jose Iglesias. Roy Smalley nice enough to fill in for Bert on this road trip. And there's a strike at the knees to Ian Kinsler.
As we mentioned in the opening of the show, a much better start to the season for Kyle Gibson. Much more consistent. He's been as good as anybody in the league so far. I really enjoyed watching him pitch.
Gibson had a start here against the Tigers, game 3 of the season, and it looked a lot like some of his starts his first 2 years in the big leagues. Tigers were able to bunch things together and knock him out early. He only retired 10 batters. 13 were left unretired. 8 hits, 5 walks, which is uncharacteristic for Kyle. 1-2 to Kinsler. And now 2-2.
The big difference with Gibson so far, Dick, besides what we mentioned in the open of the show, throwing strikes more often with more pitches, but he's been able to get himself back in the strike zone when innings looked like they were getting away from him. We can all recall last year when he didn't have it. He'd go ball 2, ball 3 and 1 maybe, and then he'd walk somebody, give up a hit. He couldn't find his command again, and he's been able to do that this year. It hasn't always been perfectly efficient. There have been some walks, there have been some hits, but he's able to get back in the strike zone.
To left center field, to the gap, down for a hit. And Kinsler with a 1-out double, and he will hold up there. A couple of well-hit balls to get things started against Kyle Gibson, and a man at second with 1 out for Miguel Cabrera.
Not a bad pitch, and a good job of hitting right there by Ian Kinsler. The ball's down. It might have just a little bit more of the plate than Kyle and Kurt Suzuki wanted it. Kinsler's a pretty good hitter, and he must see Gibson pretty well, because he's coming into this game, he was hitting 400 against Kyle, 6 for 15. So sometimes that happens. Hitters just see certain pitchers see the ball out of the hand well.
This guy sees a lot of pitchers well, but he is 5 for 12 with a home run against Gibson. Miguel Cabrera grounded to the right side. Dozier has it. 2 outs. Each batter retired on 1 pitch. Kinsler to third with 2 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eduardo Escobar in left. Aaron Hicks in center. Torrey Hunter in right. Wolf back with the team. He's had, in essence, 3 days off. Santana Dozier up the middle. Bauer at first. And Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Runner at third. 2 down. And now Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez 4 for 14 against Gibson. And a huge split for Martinez between his ability, proficiency from one side of the plate than the other. And that's a nice save by Suzuki on a pitch in the dirt, keeping Kinsler at third base. Ball 1.
Boy, this is a terrific play right here by Suzuki. Watch the agility there. That's textbook for all you young catchers and coaches of catchers out there. You cannot do it any better than Kurt did right there.
Martinez laid off a breaking ball in the dirt. Gibson from the windup. A runner at third. Swing and a miss. Victor Martinez, hitting right-handed, is hitting an otherworldly .462, but from the left side of the plate. And they say because of his offseason knee surgery, he's hitting just .167 with very little run production. 1-1. Swing and a miss.
You can tell right there with that swing, he just doesn't have the leg drive, the same leg drive. Doesn't look like the same guy because the knee surgery's on the back knee. Now watch, there's all upper body and arm there. There's no leg drive into that pitch at all. And when your legs are hurting, your knees or ankles or something, it's very, very difficult. Not so much from the right side.
And Suzuki with a nice reach to catch ball 2. Gibson trying to pitch around a 1-out double.
That left knee, for a left-hand hitter, the left leg is your plant leg. You drive off of that into your front side. Right-handed, the left knee being the stride leg. It actually could even help make your stride a little softer, which all hitters like to have. But left-handed, that left leg isn't well. You're just not swinging well.
Flipped foul, still 2-2. Gibson with a glance around Comerica Park. He's got a lot of family here. Folks making the drive from Indiana, about a 4-hour drive to watch Kyle pitch here tonight. 2-2. And another foul. Gibson has not struck out many people, and some people I think are alarmed about that. Gibson on the season has just 11 strikeouts and 15 walks. So he's had a couple of 2-strike pitches, 3 in fact fouled off by Victor Martinez. Guy who's very, very difficult to strike out, knee surgery or not. And another foul.
I was just going to say, I think that back foot slider to a left-handed pitcher is going to become a strikeout pitch for Kyle. He almost got Victor Martinez right there, and as you say, Victor's so tough to strike out. I think a lot of left-handed hitters would not have fouled that pitch off. That was in a really, really good spot to strike out a lot of left-handed hitters. And I think that pitch will become a strikeout pitch for him.
Another 2-2 from Gibson. And another foul ball.
Kurt wanting that four-seam fastball in on Martinez right there. Kyle missed it back over the middle of the plate, got away with one there with 2 strikes over the middle.
Last year, Victor Martinez hit 32 home runs, drove in 103 runs, 561 at bats, and he struck out 42 times. Again, the 2-2 pitch. Down the line, but another foul ball.
Once you get to a count of 2-2 and especially 3-2, that breaking ball becomes less effective because you're really trying to throw a strike, not wanting to go to 3-2 or not wanting to walk somebody. It's effective 0-2 and 1-2 because you don't care if you throw it down in the dirt and get a strikeout that way. But when you're really trying to throw a strike with it, it tends to hang, and it can be a dangerous pitch.
And dug out of the dirt by Suzuki. J.D. Martinez on deck.
Tried to get him with a changeup there. So Martinez has seen everything Kyle's got. The 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam sinker. He's seen sliders and changeup. Classic at bat for Martinez. He just doesn't give them away.
To center. Plenty of room out there. Hicks back and over to end the inning. And significantly, the at bat itself. is back. This is gone. Unbelievable. Deep to left. You take one under the chin.
I was just going to say,
that's what you want to do. And Trevor Plouffe will try to get something on the board for the Twins here in the second. Since April 25th, the Twins, and it's not even close, the most runs scored in the major leagues. Plouffe a big part of that. He swings and misses at the first pitch from Alfredo Simon. Plouffe missed the final 2 games in Cleveland. Of course, the team had a day off yesterday. So he should, don't you hitters talk about having fresh hands? Trevor Plouffe should have fresh hands, right?
You know, it's May the, what are we, 12th? Your hands should still be fresh.
1-1. Foul back 1-2.
I think more importantly is when you're swinging the bat as well as Trevor has been, to have 3 days in a row off when you're no longer swinging, that's tough. Whenever I was swinging the, any hitter, when they're swinging well, they don't want any off days.
Right. Simon already has a couple of strikeouts. He got Hunter and Mauer. We might not see too many strikeouts in this series, the Twins, and I don't think this will surprise too many of you back home. Twins are 30th in Major League Baseball in terms of pitching staff and strikeouts. But this will surprise most people. The Tigers are 29th. We're used to coming in here running into Scherzer and Verlander and Pfister and guys like that who can strike out a bunch of people. The Tigers are 29th in the major leagues in pitching strikeouts.
That is very, very surprising. Although this guy here today, if he gets that split finger working, he could strike some guys out.
And Plouffe fouls it at the plate. It rolls up the line in fair territory, but it hit Plouffe in the batter's box.
I think he's already thrown more split finger pitches to right-handers than the scouting report would say he'd throw during the whole game. It looks to me like he really likes the split finger pitch, because the scouting report is pretty much that he throws to left-handers, and he's throwing it all the time here.
Foul back, and Plouffe trying to have a extended at bat like Victor Martinez did. That
was the one he wanted right there. A little cutter right in the middle of the plate. It just kind of spun. That's a home run pitch for Trevor that he just got under a little bit.
Fouled away. The Twins on Sunday in Cleveland were stymied by Danny Salazar of the Indians, and so they'd like to get something done against Simon here early on. Trevor having a good battle here to start the second inning. And he takes a walk.
Very good at bat right there.
A leadoff walk to Plouffe will get Suzuki to the plate. Mentioned before that Simon's had a tough time getting the left-handers out, and he's dominated right-handers. Well, why then would the Twins have so many right-handed batters in the lineup? Well, Kurt Suzuki, in his case, it's because he's the only guy who's had a lot of at-bats, 7 of them, against Simon, 3 hits and 2 home runs. So Suzuki was going to play. Chris Herman was not. The other left-handed batters that will be on the bench, Rosario and Schaefer. And then, too, there's the matter of James McCann, who is doing the catching. Alex Avila, the veteran, the guy who just does a great job handling the pitching staff. Avila's going to be out for a while with a knee issue, and McCann is their regular catcher now. Suzuki takes high. I don't know that Plouffe is the guy they'd want to do it with, but I think the Twins would like to be a little more aggressive on the base paths.
Well, Paul Molitor will be aggressive, but he's looking for matchups. He's looking for the right guy on base, the right guy up at the plate to do different things.
And now 2-0.
It's just so funny to me that guys that hit pitchers well, invariably they get up there and the pitcher will go 2-0 right away, and then just give them every more opportunity to hit them well.
2-0 to Suzuki. And a strike called. He didn't pitch in the game, but Simon last year was a National League All-Star, so he was at Target Field. And he started this year 4-0 for the Tigers, but now the last couple starts haven't gone so well for him. Last 2 starts, total of 9 1/3 innings and 9 earned runs.
I think he has a tendency to get a little wild, just like we've seen here, go 2-ball and 3-ball counts. You see right here where he was his first 4 starts and the last 2, they tail up 2 different guys, and that has to do with command again, if he can throw it in the strike zone.
Plouffe takes off. Here's a drive to right center field. J.D. Martinez won't get there on a hit and run. Plouffe will gain third base, and they're going to wave him around and now hold him at the end. Trevor wasn't quite sure as he took off. He hesitated about 15 feet from second base to make sure that that ball was going to drop, but Suzuki ends up with a double, advancing Plouffe to third.
Fastball in the middle of the plate that Kurt really kind of unloads on. And here's where you were talking about, Dick. He had to wait up. He held up twice. It looked like clearly the first time to him it was going to drop, and then all of a sudden it started drifting back toward J.D. Martinez in right field. And Trevor thinking, nobody out. There's no way that I can get doubled up here with somebody making a great catch, so I got to be sure.
One of the reasons the Twins have scored so many runs over the last couple of weeks, situations like this. Hitters have converted. It's Vargas's chance first, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. Infield playing back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball up the middle at least. Kinsler playing in the outfield grass on the right side, and Iglesias maybe a step or 2 on the dirt on the left side. Smothered by McCann.
That's a very nice take there by Vargas. We've seen him swinging an awful lot of balls in the dirt early this year, and he's worked very, very hard with Tom Brunansky to recognize pitches early. That's a good sign when you see a good changeup or split finger they're taken so easily.
That is just wide of the bag. A foul ball, 1-2. Tom Brunansky's done a great job after a very slow start. This Twins lineup has been very, very productive. One and two. Simon would like to pick up a strikeout here. Vargas trying to put it in play to the outfield.
Yeah, or even to the right side of the infield. If he just battle here, get some contact to the right side, get one of them in and one of them over.
Another splitter and chopped foul by Vargas.
With nobody out, runners on second and third, and big league hitters' primary thought process ought to be, I'm going to hit the ball to the right side, because when they're playing back like this, because 2 good things happen. I'll get 1 run in, get an RBI, I'll get the guy on second over to third with only 1 out, and we can pick up 2 runs without getting a hit if I can just get the ball to the right side.
Called third strike, 1 away. Teased him with a couple of splitters and then buzzed the fastball over the inside corner.
Yeah, this is real good pitching here. You throw those splitters and then come right in on the inside corner, because a hitter has to be waiting on that splitter. He can't jump out too quickly, and then a fastball on the inside is a pitch you have to be the quickest on. So that's the back and forth that we've talked about. Throw it hard in, throw something soft, throw it hard in, throw something soft. That really, really plays with a hitter.
And now Escobar. Tapper, right side, foul. Escobar with 81 at bats and 14 runs batted in. He'd like to pick up 1 or 2 here in the second inning. Escobar's RBI per at bat ratio, the highest on the team. Inside, a called strike. The same pitch that struck out Vargas, perhaps. 0-2.
Yeah, that one looked a little bit more up and in. The ball did run back quite a bit on the plate, toward the plate, but that looked to me like, well, it got the outer perimeter or the inner perimeter of the strike zone. Just barely. I'd have taken it.
2 strikes to Escobar. One and 2.
Detroit's playing Eduardo Escobar interestingly in the outfield. To me, Anthony goes to center fielder quite a ways toward the left center field gap, and yet Simon pitching Escobar in with fastballs, and it likely to throw in the split finger, which is more of a pull pitch. Interesting defensive configuration here, I think, by the Tigers. Escobar hit the ball to left center, left-handed, a fair amount, but they're giving up a lot of room from the straightaway center field around to the line.
1-2. 2-2, and as you said that, J.D. Martinez, the right fielder, shifted more to the right center field gap. So as big as that gap is, there's an even bigger one down the right field line.
Well, it all depends on how they're going to pitch somebody. It's one thing to play somebody the other way if you're going to give them a steady diet of fastball, hard fastballs, middle to outside. If you're going to pitch him in and throw him splitters, right field's in jeopardy.
Now 3-2, a base open. Aaron Hicks on deck. This rally for the Twins started with a great plate appearance by Trevor Plouffe, ending up in a walk. Then Suzuki doubled. Vargas called out on strikes. Simon got ahead of Escobar 0-2, but now it's 3-2. And Simon about to throw his 24th pitch this inning.
It's the other thing the Twins have been very, very good at during this stretch of high octane offense. They've made pitchers throw a lot of pitches.
Struck him out. 2 down. Simon now and at bat away from pitching out of a big time pickle here in the second inning.
Yeah, a little bit too big a swing by Escobar right here. You got to know with this guy Simon that 3-2 is not an automatic fastball pitch. Eduardo there guessing fastball, and again that split finger is a pitch that comes out of the pitcher's hand looking like a fastball, and if you react to it too early to your pull field, that will be we see what the result will be.
Aaron Hicks was swinging it really well at AAA. He'll get a chance here. First swing and a miss. Her first pitch is swing and a miss. Hicks hit .336, 10 doubles, 4 triples, 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in, 21 runs scored, and 15 walks. He earned a call-up and got the news after the game last night in Rochester. 1 strike. Blocked by McCann, 1-1.
So the Twins have gotten their 8th man to the plate here in the first 2 innings, and everybody's got to know now that split finger's coming. It's coming to everybody, and so you can pick your spots and go ahead. It's okay to be out in front of that splitter thinking it's a fastball before you have 2 strikes, because you want to be aggressive on the fastball when you get it. But when you get to 2 strikes, you've got to know that's lurking there, and you can't swing at it like it's a fastball.
Checked his swing, took a strike, 1-2.
He's thrown in 3 in a row now, 3 splitters in a row.
Only 2 balls have been put in play. Dozier's pop-up to Cabrera to start the game, and Suzuki's double to right center field.
So here's where you have to give up hope you get a fastball and you can kill it to your pull field. You've got to be hitting the fastball the other way so that you can see that splitter early.
Another nice block by McCann, keeping Plouffe at third base. 2-2.
Boy, that was a great smother right there. Much like Kurt Suzuki in the first inning. Slide over, get your whole body in front of it. Hope you deaden it. He did a perfect job there, too.
2-2 now to Hicks.
He hasn't seen a fastball yet.
Struck him out.
Still hasn't.
Simon strikes out the side after Suzuki's double, and the Twins lead 2 in scoring position.
Second inning in Detroit. Aaron Hicks is playing tonight after getting the call up last night from AAA, and he said he got to Detroit at about 11 o'clock this morning, headed to the hotel, and the first guy that he saw was Torii Hunter, and he said the two shared a cab from the hotel to the ballpark and talked shop pretty much the whole way. Hicks said, "I want to pick his brain all the time. That's what I did." Torii really embraces his role as a mentor to the younger players like Aaron Hicks, and Aaron knows he can learn a lot from Torii. So Dick and Roy, it's a pretty good combination, especially when both are as willing as they are.
Well, thank you, Marnie. And comparisons have been made about the struggles that Hicks has had up here to the struggles that Torii Hunter had a long time ago, going back and forth from the big league club to the minor leagues. It was not a one call-up situation for Torii. And I can't think of anybody who would be a better person for Aaron to relate to than Torii Hunter, who, once he did get up here to stay, he's gone on and been one of the more durable players in the game. Fly to right, and Hunter back, still short of the track, makes the catch. Pretty good breeze blowing in from right field, maybe foul pole to foul pole. Hunter makes the catch, one away. Again, this is the first night of the Twins broadcast auction, and very glad to see that the television broadcast experience is bringing in more money than the radio broadcast experience. But whatever you want to bid on, we encourage you to do that. 833 Twins, option 4 to make a bid. Now, for the TV broadcast experience, it's been a tradition that you come up to the booth and at Target Field, and for one inning, I buy all the hot dogs you and your guest can eat in one inning.
You do?
I do, yes.
I'm trying to think the last time you bought me a hot dog.
Bid up.
Maybe I'll bid on it.
Bid up, young man.
I'd pay a lot of money just to see you buy me a hot dog.
Here's Cespedes. Ball one, now strike one.
You know, the other thing on that list that really, I think is fascinating and a great item is a pitching lesson from Eddie Guardado. You get more lessons from Eddie than just pitching, I'll tell you what. That would be a great experience.
Tapper, left side, Plouffe waits for the second hop, fires across, 2 down. And that'll bring up Nick Castellanos. Well, Simon has gone through 2 innings and struck out 5 Twins batters, and true to form, Gibson has gotten 5 outs, and I guess he came close to striking out Victor Martinez a few times, but no strikeouts. What do you think about that? Some people say that Gibson, who came into this year with about 5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched, and is pitching to about half that level so far this year. Should that be a cause for concern?
Not for me. Not with the stuff that he's got, his ability to get ground balls. That pitch right there is going to be a strikeout pitch for him, as I mentioned, both to right-handers and left-handers. But he's throwing the ball up there. You know, that pitch to contact phrase is, I think, overused. I mentioned it before. I think a lot of Twins fans think of pitch to contact meaning you throw it in there softly and the contact gets.
I think they cringe when you hear that phrase. They shudder.
Right, but with Kyle Gibson, he's trying to make the hitters have real bad contact, and he has the ability to do that. And I will tell you that what's better about Kyle Gibson with his stuff and no strikeouts, it's an awful lot. That is an awful lot better than a guy that can strike out 6, 7, 8 guys, but goes ball 3 and ball 2 on everybody, walks some guys, and then gives up some big hits and loses the game, even though he struck out 8 guys. It doesn't really matter.
1-2 to Castellanos, and a ball flared down the right field line and foul. Castellanos, a candidate to strike out. He struck out 35 times in 111 at bats. Mentioned that in the first inning. Last year, Victor Martinez barely struck out more than Castellanos did all year long, and here he is with 111 at bats and 35 fans. One and two from Gibson. Little dribbler and foul. One thing too we've noticed, Gibson's a very good fielding pitcher, and that's been very helpful for him. Stands to reason that if you get weak contact on the ground, some of that weak contact is going to be headed back up the middle. And we've seen him field numbers, choppers, bunts.
You know, he does three things that I think really help a pitcher be successful besides just pitching effectively. That's hold runners on, field your position well. The third one, that don't walk anybody. And 2 of those 3 he's terrific at.
Came inside and got a foul off the handle of the bat. And the walk numbers too. I mean, 15 walks, and 5 of them in the first game here. So beyond that start, you don't get a mulligan in this game, but if Kyle did, his overall walk numbers would be much more typical to what we've seen. Another 1-2. And Castellanos drives one to the gap in left center, and that'll get all the way to the fence. Another extra base hit. Castellanos will hold up with a double. But Gibson came close to striking him out, came close to retiring on some of that weak contact, and then a bullet to the gap. That'll bring up.
He made really good pitches. Sorry, Dick, it's where McCann comes into play here.
And our Sanford Health Injury Report talking about Alex Avila. Loose bodies in his left knee. They haven't determined that surgery will be required, but it would seem to be a likely course of action. And Avila will be replaced by his backup catcher, McCann. Brian Holiday called up to serve as a backup catcher. Down and away, ball 1.
Started to say about Castellanos, Kyle had pitched him really well. A lot of very good quality pitches, and then that last one just got away from him, sailed over the middle of the plate. Castellanos able to hit the double.
1-0 to McCann. 2-0. Came inside, got a swinging strike.
Good example of that power sinker that Kyle Gibson has. He starts with something with a pitch that not everybody, that you just don't see very often. A real hard 91, 92 mile an hour sinker from a high release point. You just don't see that very often. It's very, there it is again. Very difficult for hitters to stay with that sink. If you think about classic sinker ball pitchers, they tend to come from the side, that you kind of see the ball the way the ball spins sideways and then sinks. You kind of get used to the trajectory of that pitch. Gibson's trajectory is just different, and I think that's a real plus.
Swing and a miss. He gets a strikeout. He strands Castellanos at second, and we head to the third. No score. End of the third, no score. I want to give you a few more details about one of our items in the Twins broadcast auction. A private 30-minute pitching lesson with Eddie Guardado, current bullpen coach, former great Twins closer. Participant must be 13 years of age or older. The date's subject to availability. Santana squares to bunt, takes ball one. It'll be Santana, Dozier, and Hunter. Santana, the fourth straight switch hitter sent up there by Paul Molitor. And that the Twins have four switch hitters is a note of itself. Now with Hicks up here with the ball club. Of course, Santana, Escobar, and Vargas were with the team last year too. I just don't recall them hitting in succession like this. 1-1 to the Twins shortstop. And now inside. Santana has been a leadoff hitter for the Twins, now hitting ninth. Hicks has been a leadoff hitter. He's hitting eighth. Up the middle, fielded by Iglesias. Quick release, one away. And Twins had a chance, but came up empty-handed in the second.
Trevor Plouffe, after a really good at bat, drew a walk, and now a hit and run fastball outside. Kurt Suzuki double Plouffe to third. Now we've got second and third, nobody out. And Simon went to work with that split finger. Just a steady dive, that thing that just diving down. It's a tough pitch to hit. It's a great equalizing pitch. It really is.
Brian Dozier, the batter, taking strike one. Hit a little pop up to Cabrera his first time up. Squaring to bunt and bunting foul, 2 strikes.
It's even hard to bunt.
First time through the order, and only 3 balls were put in play. And Simon gets ahead of Dozier 0-2. High and tight. 6th strikeout for Alfredo Simon. Time now for our lows never stop improving. Coming into tonight's game, the AL Central owns the best win percentage in all of baseball. And a lot of people expected the Central to be the toughest division. I don't know that anybody figured the Twins would be where they are, just a game behind Detroit in the standings. Here's Torrey Hunter, struck out on 3 pitches in his first inning at bat. Up and in, ball 1.
A little ephus change.
Yeah, he's got that.
Really?
Swing and a miss.
So I looked there to see what the, as you see the 84 mile an hour change up right there. And I looked on the previous pitch to see what that speed was. And I'm told that Fox Strikes doesn't register anything under 64. Is it 64?
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't even get up there. No. No. Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. There's 63 right there.
And a 1-2-3 third inning. Torrey hitting 2 of the low 60s deliveries. Link, your link to what's next, by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. A cloudy, cool night here in Detroit. Right fielders can blow into their hands. It's about the same temperature it was the last time the Twins were here. The difference is we started on time tonight. Kyle Gibson has pitched around a couple of doubles. Jose Iglesias will lead things off, and on one pitch, over to Bloof, 1 away. So 1 down. Kyle's had a couple of, well, actually 3 now. 3 one-pitch at-bats. And he'll face Anthony Goes, who was retired on the first pitch. In fact, I think the leadoff man in all 3 innings was retired on the first pitch. Goes on the first pitch, Iglesias, and it was, I think, Cespedes. 1 strike to Goes. And Rajai Davis essentially platooning in center field for the Tigers.
We talked about some early surprises. I think Anthony Goes hitting 325 for the Tigers. It would qualify as one of those. He's played very, very well for this team.
Missed the inside corner.
Yeah,
2-1.
There's the 4-seam fastball, which is the straight one. The 2-seamer is the one that is the sinker. That's what another thing Kyle's starting to do very, very effectively is get fastballs in on left-handers and then be able to go back away. So you see how that movement went away from the left-hander. He's trying to hit the outside part of the plate low with that one, but keep left-hand hitters honest with the 4-seamer that's on the inside part of the plate that gets up there a little bit more quickly.
Fouled away now, 3-2. Goes not someone you want to put on base. 6 steals and 8 tries. Rajai Davis, his platoon mate, 8 steals and 9 tries. 3-2 with 1 gone here in the Detroit third. And a liner to left. Goes has hit the ball hard twice to the opposite field. Girls on the Run. Twin Cities uses running to inspire girls to be healthy and confident. Saturday, May 30th, join Fox Sports North at the University of Minnesota for the Girls on the Run Spring 5K. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events. Here's Kinsler. Double to left center field his first time up. Twins have beaten the Tigers just once in 6 tries so far this year. There goes. I found myself doing that in the other series too. There goes.
I would just say there he goes.
Goes takes off. 1 strike to Kinsler.
Had a real good jump too. It's one of those that he wishes his teammate had not fouled the ball off, because he had that one stolen, I think.
Teams have only tried 1 stolen base against Gibson and have done so successfully.
Gibson, as I was mentioning, holds guys on pretty well, pretty quick to first base. He's not slow to the plate, so holds runners generally pretty well. Anthony goes very fast, becoming a base stealer with the opportunity to play a little more regularly.
Gibson has averaged more than 1 ground ball double play per start. Kinsler's hit into 4 this year. A lot of speed at first and pretty good speed out of the batter's box as well. Pitch out, 1-1.
Goes not going that time. A lot of times managers will let guys run on their own, and then they'll just have a stop sign. In other words, a don't steal on this pitch. You're on your own. You can steal it whenever you want unless you get the sign not to go.
High and tight, 2-1. And as you suggested, that can go pitch to pitch throughout an at bat, right? The stop sign's on, then the stop sign's off.
The stop sign is only on when you get it. So yes, once it's on for 1 pitch, then he's back to on his own unless he gets the don't steal sign again. Some managers will do that. Well, they'll do it for a couple of reasons. One, depending on what they think the hitter's going to do, and others, whether he thinks the other manager's going to pitch out or not. So if a runner has the green light to go, but by, let's say, a count of 3-1, he has not gone, manager might put the don't go on and depending on who the hitter is, let him get a 3-1 fastball that he can drive.
2-1 to Kinsler. To left. And Escobar runs in to make the catch, out number 2. And that'll bring up Cabrera. It was Cabrera who was the other Detroit batter who was out on the first pitch. He grounded out to Dozier on the first pitch he saw in the first inning. Pretty impressive numbers, but you look at those numbers and I guess from the Twins' perspective, you're a little worried because he really hasn't gotten it all together yet. We've seen better numbers than what Cabrera's posted up so far this year.
Saw Kurt Suzuki give the sign there to Kyle Gibson and then move inside like he wants the ball in on Cabrera, which is now he's going back the other way out to the outside part of the plate.
Ball 1. Now, when you're up there, can you sense where the catcher's setting up behind you? You don't dare peek.
Yeah, it's very difficult without peeking. If they catch you peeking, you'll end up peeking at the sky from your back on a succeeding pitch. You don't want to do that, but it's hard to sense where they are. where the catcher's moving. But I do believe that you have to impress this guy, Miguel Cabrera, with the fact that you may be coming inside. You have to get him thinking in there.
The best way to do that is with a called strike, I suppose.
Yep, and with Gibson's power sink that moves in toward the right-hand hitters, that's a really good pitch. The reason I say you have to impress him with that is he waits a long time, lets the ball get back over the plate. He has enough power to hit the ball out to right field and right center, which makes him able to see breaking balls and changeups early. So the one pitch that he's most vulnerable to will be inside. You got to make him think he's going to get it in there, then you can go back out that way.
To right center and deep. Hicks to the gap, leaps and makes the catch at the fence. And he may have hurt himself. He's wincing, but he caught the ball. Running into the screen in front of the scoreboard for the third out. Last at bat.
And if you watch him go the other way on this pitch, not a bad pitch, and he is so strong and is so willing to wait and go that way. He almost hit that ball in the seats, and that's why I was saying we watch Aaron Hicks make a very, very nice catch, stay with it, good concentration all the way, and then kind of chest bump right into the scoreboard out there, shook himself up just a little bit. But that swing and the result, almost a home run in many, many ballparks by Cabrera. That's why I'm saying you have to really pound him inside and press him that you're going to come in there and get him off all of that other stuff. The fastballs away, the breaking balls, the changeups, because he hits them all that other direction.
A ball now, a strike to Mauer. The 3, 4, and 5 batters up for the Twins. Mauer, Plouffe, and Suzuki. Twins have been going pretty good over the last couple of weeks, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for Mauer. Batting average down to 287. He's lost about 50 points off his on-base percentage. And he went out on a check swing in the first. 2-1.
I think the Twins hitters have to understand that they're going to see a steady diet of split finger pitches from Alfredo Simon. And so what that means to me is that if it's a knee-high fastball, you think it's going to be a knee-high fastball, you got to take it. Because it's going to be, if it turns out to be the splitter, it's going to be in the dirt and you're going to miss it. So the ball's got to be in the middle of the strike zone, right mid-thigh to belt high for you to start to offer at that fastball. And then if it turns out to be the split finger, you'll see that better. But if you're setting up to pull a low fastball and you see the first thing out of his hand and start reacting to it, you're going to be swinging at split fingers in the dirt all day long.
2-2 from Simon to Mauer. Kinsler backhands. 1 down. Twins struck out 16 times on Sunday against Danny Salazar and the Cleveland bullpen. They've already fanned 6 times tonight against Simon.
Yeah, there's the split finger. Most of them have been on that split finger pitch right there. And then he'll bust a fastball in. But if he gets really concerned that you can hurt him, he's going to go to that split finger. I don't think there's any doubt about it now.
Trevor Plouffe had a great plate appearance. A lot of 2-strike fouls, eventually coaxing a walk. Suzuki followed with a double. And Plouffe squares to bunt, takes ball 1. Twins had second and third, nobody out in the second, and that's when Simon went to work, striking out Vargas, Escobar, and Hicks. On the outside corner. Two and one for a guy who's missed 3 games in a row, or 2 games and an off day yesterday. Should help Plouffe. I would think he's been able to see a lot of pitches so far in his return to the lineup.
Yeah, and it looks like he's seen it well too. Laid off a slider there. There's another slider that he's looks like he's picking up pretty quickly.
3 and 1 with Suzuki on deck.
Trevor got to look for a fastball here right in the middle of the plate. Fastball and cutter, and see if he can drive it. Give himself one chance here. Ooh, there it was.
At the knees, 3 and 2.
He wanted the ball in there, and I don't blame him. He wanted 3 and 1. He wanted to get a ball from the middle of the plate in and try to drive it to your pull field. That doesn't look like Simon's going to throw anybody in.
Fouled away.
Especially right-handers. He might come in on the left-hander as he did to Vargas after really burying split finger in his mind. Then he zipped a fastball inside. But for the most part, he's going to stay away with a fastball and throw that split finger.
Another 3-2. Fisted to right. And did he catch it or trap it? A catch called by James Hoy, the second base umpire. And we'll see if the Twins appeal it or not. Plouffe heading to the dugout like he is resigned to the fact that the right fielder took a hit away from him.
Ball dying fast. Martinez comes up, gets his glove underneath it. Good catch and a good call.
And now Suzuki to the plate. Now 4 for 8 against Simon with 3 extra base hits. His second inning double and the 2 home runs we told you about earlier. Just off the plate, ball 1.
And once again,
that's was a 2-1 pitch that Suzuki cracked for a double, but the count started 2-0. Down the right field line, and Martinez looks like he has a play. A 1-2-3 4th inning for Alfredo Simon. You ever pick up a guitar? And
one of the best air guitar players you've ever seen.
Well, on the car ride home, I'll have you do Stairway to Heaven or something.
I can do that.
Victor Martinez will lead off the fourth. He'll be followed by J.D. Martinez and then Yoenis Cespedes.
Sultans of Swing is my
okay. All right.
Performance.
And a first pitch strike. It was a long at bat in the first inning, and it turns out it was kind of a key at bat. The Tigers had a runner at third base, 2 down, and Martinez really made Gibson work before finally lifting a fly ball to left center field. We've seen Aaron Hicks go a long way to left center, now to right center off the bat of Cabrera. And it's not an insignificant thing that Hicks has been brought up here now, because even though he's struggled offensively and had some other things that parts of his game he needed to work on, the best center field defense the Twins have seen the last 2.5 years has been with Aaron Hicks standing out there. And he's already turned in a couple of nice plays tonight.
I don't think there's any question about that. We saw some highlight reel plays from little Ben Revere, but day in, day out, when Aaron Hicks has been a regular center fielder from a defensive standpoint, he's been the best we've seen.
Inside 2-2. And as the Twins are playing through the middle of May and hope to be within striking distance when they come back to Detroit in September, striking distance of the Tigers, one area that needs to improve is their outfield defense. 2-2. And Escobar has a real long run and has no play, playing back near the warning track in left center field. Carsoup.com trivia question. All time, which Detroit Tigers player has the most career home run against the Twins?
Boy, there are a lot of games between the Tigers and the Twins, and a lot of good home run hitters for the Tigers over the years.
Inside now, full count. Looking down to my left to see if Mr. Kaline's in attendance here tonight. I see him. J.D. Martinez on deck. Might be the guy who made the last out of the third inning.
Yep. Very well could be. He's really hurt the Twins for a lot of years. Miguel Cabrera.
He's already seen 18 of Kyle Gibson's pitches. Gibson's thrown 58. And Martinez has seen roughly a third of them. That's deep, but foul.
It's amazing to me that he could have the kind of year he had, and you mentioned the numbers, a 300+ batting average, a 2 home runs and 100 and some RBIs. Walked 70 times, only struck out 42. That's some kind of hit. And we're seeing evidence of why he just doesn't strike out. He doesn't give away at bats.
Fouled away. Just think of that, though, what it means to Miguel Cabrera. You know, the Tigers have Victor Martinez to protect Miguel Cabrera. Could there be better protection than somebody who never strikes out? If you pitch around Miguel Cabrera, you have to pitch to this guy. He won't get himself out.
Right. You're not going to strike him out. He's going to put the ball in play somewhere, and most of the time it's hard.
Another 3-2 on the ground, and Martinez, who can hardly move, is retired. One down, and that'll bring up J.D. Martinez. Some have thought here in Detroit, no one in any position of authority, that the Tigers would be well served giving Victor Martinez some time off to let the knee recover, heal, and let him come back on the other end of whatever period of time he got off, feeling better. Here's a drive to right, a rocket, and it's gone. I'm not sure that ball got more than 20 feet in the air, and it's a 1-0 Tiger lead.
I was very interested in this matchup with Kyle Gibson and J.D. Martinez. You can just tell by a hitter's mechanics where he wants the ball. J.D. Martinez is a low ball hitter because he comes from underneath the ball. You watch this swing. He comes from underneath the ball and then swings with a slight upward movement there. And with that swing, he cannot hit the ball belt high or above. A major league fastball, I don't believe he'd have to prove to me that he can hit a belt high or higher fastball. But down there, he can hit it. Breaking balls down there, he's going to hit it.
That breaks a scoreless inning streak of 20 1/3 for Gibson, approaching the 5th spot on the list held by Kyle Gibson at 22 innings. 1 strike to Cespedes. 2 strikes. Since 2012, Yoenis Cespedes has been a T-Mobile game changer against the Twins, the 2nd highest slugging percentage against Minnesota in all of baseball, with only David Ortiz having better numbers. Gibson gets ahead of him 0-2. And now 1-2. Cespedes without an RBI in his last 11 games coming into play today. Gibson allowing just his 3rd home run of the year.
Good combination of pitches there. 0-2. He went high with a fastball, came in hard with a fastball. See if that opens up the outside part of the play a little bit.
And Cespedes grounds it sharply up the middle.
They had the right idea. Went back out there, tried to get the outside corner. Again, left it about mid-thigh to belt high.
In his first start of the year this year, Gibson got knocked around a little bit. The last man he faced was J.D. Martinez, who had a 2-run home run against Gibson back in early April. And so far, Gibson, having given up just 3 home runs, has given up now 2 of them to the Tiger right fielder.
Well, that's what I was saying, Dick. With Gibson's style of pitching, with that sinker that's that comes down and into the right-hander, if you leave that over the plate, that's J.D. Martinez's wheelhouse to me. I just believe that you can look at where a guy stands in the batter's box and what his swing looks like and give you an awful lot of clue about what kind of pitch he wants to hit. Martinez stands off the plate. He sets up to hit the ball in right center field, and he swings slightly up at the ball. That means pitches low in the strike zone, whether it's fastball or breaking balls. He's going to be on those pitches. Up in the strike zone, not so much.
Fox Tracks presented by Jeep. 1-0. For a right-handed batter to hit a home run to right field tonight, it had to be the type of home run that the ball hit to center and Hicks retreats out number 2. It had to be the type of ball that Martinez hit. There's a pretty good breeze blowing in from right field, but that was never hit up in the wind.
Yeah, it was a laser. It certainly was. He hit that ball awfully hard. A big, strong guy. I mean, I'm not finding fault with it. His swing is just what it is, and he can make up for a lot of deficiencies with his swing with that great strength that he has. But no matter how strong a guy is, if he's got a hole up in the strike zone, it would be hard for him to get to the ball up there.
Here's James McCann, struck out against Gibson to wrap up the 2nd inning. Jabbed at, strike 1, a foul ball. McCann will get the playing time, and he'll also get the advice, mentorship of Alex Avila, who can't play, but Avila's made himself available to McCann to bounce questions off, thoughts off, trying to help his understudy in any way he can. On the ground, and Santana throws to first. The inning ends. J.D. Martinez has taken Kyle Gibson down deep twice this year. 1-0 Tigers, and a look at tonight's Pepsi fan of the game. Hoping the Twins can break through against Alfredo Simon. Twins have had 3 1-2-3 innings. Plouffe got a leadoff walk. Twins had a scoring threat, couldn't convert. Here's Vargas, who struck out with runners at second and third, nobody out. And in fact, not only did Vargas strike out, but so too did the following batters, Escobar and Hicks. And Simon did a great job pitching out of a jam and now has a 1-0 lead. Stroked solidly, foul. 1-1. Vargas's numbers are okay. No, was hitting 247 coming into the game. And there have been too many strikeouts, but I think that's the type of hitter he's going to be. But I don't think the Twins have seen the best of Vargas this year. He's capable, I think, and that's why he's in the lineup every day. I think he's capable of much more this year.
There's no question that he is. We got a glimpse of it last year, and I really believe that last year's glimpse was more what we're going to see from him as he matures as a hitter in the big leagues. You have to remember he was in Double-A baseball last year when he got called up. He barely has 300 at-bats now in the big leagues. He's got a ways to go before he really even knows what kind of hitter he's going to be.
Got a piece of it. Still 2-2. The Twins still project him to be a power hitter from both sides of the plate, hitting higher than 6th in the lineup.
I really believe that it's going to be very important for Kenny Vargas to become a solid number 5 hitter, maybe even 4, for the Twins to be a real good ball club.
Squirted down the line.
Beautiful. Baby, is that good?
And Vargas will get an extra base hit. The ball actually died before Cespedes could get it, but Vargas squirts one between Castellanos and the line.
He's got a couple of these coming to him, no question about it. He's hit some line drives at people, and just right off the end of the bat, that split finger out in front of it, squirts it the other way, inside the line. See, Castellanos really has no play, and the ball just, gravity and friction got to it.
That, and there wasn't a whole lot of inertia behind it. Here's Escobar, went down swinging.
Well, I think that's when there's not a whole lot of inertia behind it, gravity and friction get to it.
See if Escobar can have better results the second time against Simon. Strike on the outside corner.
Guys pitching well like this, you got to do the little things. You got to get Vargas over to third here some kind of way.
That'll work.
That will work.
Kinsler cuts it off, throws Escobar out, and Vargas stands now at third. Broadcast auction update. The pitching lesson with Eddie Guardado. It's a half an hour. You don't have to be left-handed. You got to be 13 or more, but you don't have to be left-handed.
You need to be willing to put up with a left-hander's personality.
Yeah.
I just think that's a cool deal. Eddie's the greatest guy in the world. He's funny, he's enthusiastic, he's energetic, and he knows an awful lot about pitching. I think that'd be an awesome gift.
Hicks takes inside, ball 1. The Tigers have the infield in, trying to protect their 1-0 lead. Hicks came up, and he too struck out with runners at second and third, and in his case with 2 out. Popped up short left. Vargas have to play it off the bag. No chance to challenge the strong throwing arm of Cespedes. Hicks's fly ball comes up short, 2 down.
That swing right there is a result of Simon just burying the thought of that split finger in Aaron Hicks's mind. It threw him 4 of them to strike him out his first time up, and so much protecting against that pitch that fastball got in on him.
Twins have now hit 30 for 31 full innings here in Detroit and have yet to score an earned run. See if Santana can change that and get the game tied. One run they scored in the opening series of the year was an unearned run. Shattered bat. Simon nearly walked into the shard of the bat. A leadoff double, but again, Simon pitches out of trouble. It's 1-0 Detroit. All right, thank you very much. 1-0 here. Jose Iglesias hit on the first pitch of the bottom of the fifth. Gibson hitting his third batter of the season. And Iglesias is aboard to start the inning.
I'm actually surprised Kyle hasn't hit more guys. That sinker that runs hard in on right-handers, and he wants to pitch inside to set up the outside part of the plate. And when his ball's moving a lot, I wouldn't be surprised if he hit some right-handers every once in a while.
Anthony Goes has hit the ball hard twice to the opposite field. Plouffe is in on the grass, expecting a possible bunt here. Iglesias can also steal a base. Goes tries to drag it with him up the line, but it rolls foul. Not really a sacrifice situation, or at least not. It might have been a sacrifice situation, but it wasn't executed as such. Looked like he was trying to bunt for a base hit. One strike.
I'd actually be surprised if Brad Ausmus has Goes actually sacrifice with the sacrifice sign, square around and bunt. He'll give him the opportunity to bunt him over if he wants to bunt for a hit and take a sacrifice as a result.
Foul back, 2 strikes.
You've got two guys that can run as well as these two guys can on the bases. Goes been swinging the bat well. Probably not really a sacrifice situation, even though it's because of these two guys. Even though it could be a sacrifice for any other team.
Goes very strikeout prone coming into the game. 27 strikeouts in 80 at bats. And he takes a ball 1-2.
To your point about Iglesias being able to steal a base also, the manager Goes to go ahead and try and hit. If he strikes out, then Iglesias can steal it with 1 out, and take that opportunity. So doesn't need to sacrifice here.
One and 2. Missing inside 2-2. Tigers, as we mentioned, got off to an 11-2 start. They could do very little wrong. They played very well against the Twins in a couple series. Scored a lot of runs, ran the bases, hit for power, pitched. Two and two to the Tigers center fielder. Mauer out at second, relay to first, and that's a heck of a catch by Gibson. He just saved Santana a throwing error. Santana augured his throw into the dirt, and the pitcher covering had to sprawl and make a backhanded stop.
Well, you've talked about it, Dick. Correct. He wanted to call him Kirk Gibson because I'm here in Detroit and thinking about the great former Tiger player. Kyle Gibson is a very nice athlete and fields his position very well, and he thought he got him. He gets his foot on the base and picks it. Look at that. Nice play.
And the Twins are going to have used the challenge here. Paul Molitor's come out. You can see by Gibson's reaction, he thought that he caught the ball.
Yes.
Before feeling the runner hit the bag. And we only shortchanged Gibson's effort. Now, Paul Molitor coming out here to explain something.
Base. Foot on the base, catches the ball.
Yeah, I think.
What is the rule?
When the ball hits the back of the glove.
Back of the glove, right?
Right
so
there.
There.
No, it's close.
Yeah, it's going to be very close because that's not all the way to the back right there, I don't think. If that's what they look at in slow motion, which I think they must. That's a heck of a play. It really is by Kyle Gibson.
Well, we commended him for saving Santana a throwing error. The ball very likely would have ended up in the seats and allowed Goes to run to second base. And in reality, he may have completed a double play.
Well, they say Ty goes the runner. I say Ty goes to the great play.
Is there enough visual evidence to overrule the original call? That's the issue. And I'm guessing there is not. That's just my guess that they will stay with the original call.
That would be my thought too. I just don't. If he had called him out, I think they'd stay with that.
No, wow. Double play. So wow. Kyle Gibson completes an incredible double play. That's one of the best fielding plays you will see a pitcher make. And we say that thinking at the time that he just saved his shortstop an error. As it is, it's a ground ball double play.
An amazingly great double play on one of the hardest double plays to get that there is, and made even tougher and better by how fast the batter runner was in that case.
And on the very next pitch, a pop-up to Dozier. Good inning for Kyle Gibson on the mound and in the field. this date, 1972, in a game that took 5 hours and 47 minutes to complete. The Brewers beat Bert Blyleven and the Twins at Metropolitan Stadium 4-3. Mike Ferraro singles off Bert to plate Ron Theobald with a decisive run in the top of the 22nd inning. The man was an Iron Man to pitch all 22 innings of that game. Truth be told, that was completed the next day, as I recall Bert telling the story. The game was called at night and then picked up the next day. Bert finished that game and then started the regular game the next day. There's a ball punched to right, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Twins had a leadoff double in the fifth, didn't score. We'll see what they can do with Dozier's leadoff single. Torrey Hunter will bat.
Twins fans, don't forget at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Hunter at the plate, Dozier at first. We've seen it happen countless times. A player leaves the Twins and then pretty much spends the rest of their career smashing the ball against the Twins. Hunter against the Tigers is now 1 for 21. And he's had a couple of game-ending at-bats against the Tigers already this year. Big spot here as the Twins try to tie it up. Here's a ball lifted to right, and Martinez retreats to make the catch one away. And that'll bring up Mauer. Dozier with a couple of steals in 2 attempts. The Twins have only stolen 10 bases this year, and they've been thrown out 9 times. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I would think the Twins would be less likely to even think of sending Dozier to steal here because Joe was pulling the ball a lot. Well, we haven't seen Joe do that as much during this 2-week or so skid that he's been in. Sometimes managers, though, say they like to put on a hit and run when a hitter is struggling because it really forces them to track the ball and put a good swing on it.
I like that strategy an awful lot. I think it helps hitters, gets the infielders moving around a little bit, give you a hole to hit at.
Strike called on the outside corner, 0-1.
The general consensus among managers, I think, is that when you have your third hitter up there, you don't like stealing a whole lot because you like the hole in the right side for the left-hand hitter, as you mentioned. Left-hander to pull the ball through there with the first baseman holding the runner on at the bag.
The Twins have been waiting here in Detroit now for 32 innings for somebody to deliver a big hit, and nobody's done it. 1 run scored in that opening series, an unearned run, and Simon has shut out the Twins so far here tonight.
It's hard to say with certainty all the time whether or not the pitching is really that good, or the Twins or any club just not swinging the bats very well against a given pitcher. But those first 3 games, David Price was terrific. Sanchez was pretty good. Shane Green was terrific. And so far, Alfredo Simon with that split finger, he's been really good too. So
hit hard to center, but Goes is there for the catch out number 2. Before Plouffe at bat, let's get caught up.
Kyle Gibson made a pretty good pitch to most guys. J.D. Martinez likes the ball down there, and he hit a laser into right field. Other than that, Kyle Gibson's been very, very good, both in the pitches he makes and the throws he catches. Terrific double play right there. On the other side of it, Alfredo Griffin's been just terrific. The split finger there, totally stifling the Twins hitters to this point.
Here's Trevor Plouffe. Foul to the screen, 1 strike. Plouffe has had a couple of long battles with Simon. Leadoff walk in the second, then another long battle ending up with a fly ball to right.
It's funny the way Simon's pitched Trevor. He's throwing him fastballs and a lot of sliders. He hasn't thrown the split finger nearly as much in 2 at-bats plus 1 pitch to Trevor as he has everybody else.
Dozier takes off, got a good jump, and no chance for McCann. All that time looking at Simon's delivery to the plate, his throw to first. Bryant got a great jump. He's in scoring position with 2 out. McCann never got out of his crouch and making his throw.
That is a good jump right there, and got a good pitch on which to steal as well. Everything working for Bryant.
1-1 the count to Plouffe. Hit to the outfield should tie the game. On the outside corner, 1-2. Well, 6 of the first 10 plate appearances ended up in strikeout. And Simon hasn't struck out anybody since the second out of the 3rd inning. He hasn't struck out 1 man. Pulled to third. Castellanos across the diamond. Dozier left at second base. It's still 1-0. Swing and a miss, and Gibson gets a strikeout. Hit it to him. He's a good fielding pitcher. Another breaking ball. It's been another good start for Kyle Gibson, but he finds himself on the short end of a 1-0 score. Had that rough outing here against the Tigers, a really good one against the Royals, and another one against the Royals. It was better than it might look at the end. Gibson had given up just 1 run over 5 innings to the Royals, and then ended up pushing 3 across in the 6th. 1-0 to Miguel Cabrera, fouled away 1-1, and then 3 straight really good starts. 7 innings, 2 runs against the Mariners, and then 8 innings, no runs against the White Sox. 6 innings, no runs against the A's, and so far 1 through 5 innings here tonight. I guess what we're trying to say is he's been very, very good this year, and is one of the reasons why the Twins are in the mid to upper thirds of the American League in pitching instead of in the bottom third. 1-2. Chop toward third, foul. As we've said, I think during the pregame show or maybe in the game open, As this series gets started, there are two starting pitchers with an ERA of under 3, and they're both wearing Twins uniforms. Mike Pelfrey and Kyle Gibson.
Been a while since you could say that.
Yes. Swing and a miss, and Gibson not only gets a strikeout, but he strikes out Cabrera. 1 down.
Well, he pitched him inside for 2 or 3 pitches and then got the big man in a hurry and got him out on a changeup. And that's why I said the time before, you have to get in there and impress Miguel Cabrera that you're going to come inside, because he's so intent on waiting and waiting, hitting the ball the other way. And pretty soon he'll get tired of the ball bearing in on his hands like that, and you'll get in a little bit of a hurry. So really, really well pitched at bat right there between Kyle Gibson and Kurt Suzuki.
Here's Victor Martinez. Inside a ball. You saw the list that we showed you since the middle of April. Gibson among the best in ERA. You're on a list right behind Felix Hernandez. You're doing something right. Dallas Keuchel might be the best pitcher in the game that most people haven't heard about. From short right field, it hurts me to watch Victor Martinez run to first. 2 down. An update on tonight's DraftKings players to watch, with a little rain falling here at Comerica Park. Adrian Beltre with a 21-game hitting streak against Kansas City. Cabrera with 112 runs batted in against the Twins. And Colin McHugh, along with Dallas Keuchel, giving the Astros a pretty good 1-2 punch. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. J.D. Martinez. Again, Gibson's given up 3 home runs this year, 2 of them to Martinez.
And I'll go back and just resubstantiate what I think about this guy. I think I'd like to see Suzuki call enforcing fastballs up in the zone, or really bury him inside, get him off that low stuff.
Half swing and a strike. It's a pretty good rain coming down here, and it's a cold rain. J.D. Martinez, 7 home runs, 5 of them have gone to the opposite field, and in his 2 years with the Tigers, and not even 2 full years, he has 14 opposite field home runs. This man is strong.
Very, very strong. But if you'll watch his swing, he comes from underneath the ball a little bit, and that should be an indication that he'd have trouble with the ball up in the zone.
2-2. The home run he hit against Gibson in the 4th, his first home run since April 29th. And just his 3rd hit in that time. Gibson strikes out Miguel Cabrera, and J.D. Martinez enjoys a 1-2-3 6th inning.
Great changeup right there.
Is presented by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales Event ends June 1st. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. Kyle Gibson's been very, very good again here tonight. He's down 1-0. His catcher, Kurt Suzuki, will lead off the 7th against Alfredo Simon. Twins down a run, haven't scored against Simon, but at least they put the ball in play. 6 of the first 10 batters struck out. He hasn't struck out anybody in 12 plate appearances. Suzuki takes a ball, 1-1. Suzuki, Vargas, and Escobar. That's to left. Cespedes goes down into a slide to pull it in. 1 down. And that'll bring up Kenny Vargas. An update on our broadcast auction. I know the guys on radio have been pimping the radio broadcast experience. It's up to $1,000, leading the TV broadcast experience.
Can't believe that.
Yeah. Well, here's something that'll be fun: a reverse road trip. The Twins and the Yankees, July 24th to the 26th. 2-night stay for 2 people at the W Hotel downtown Minneapolis. There's the Ephus pitch, and Vargas watches it drift outside. A $100 gift card to Murray's Steakhouse. 2 tickets to each game in the series. Passes to watch on-field batting practice on Saturday. A behind-the-scenes tour. And Vargas has 2 of the Twins' hits, both of them the opposite way. A 1-out single here in the 7th. A $50 concession voucher, 2 Twins goodie bags. Please keep bidding for any of the items.
That's a cool package too. Those are some great items there. W Hotel's terrific. Murray, how can you get better than Murray?
It's an institution. Here's Escobar, 0 for 2. Strikeout and a ground ball to second. His ground ball to second got Vargas 1 base closer, but then the Twins left him at third after Vargas's leadoff double in the 5th. That's to left field. Cespedes traps this one, and Vargas is hung off to dry. He's forced at second. Not much you can do. The guy just made a catch very similar to that, and Vargas went about 2/3 of the way and couldn't make up the other third.
Absolutely nothing to do in that situation. He was in no man's land on an impossible play to really know whether he was going to catch it. Cespedes actually makes a really nice short hop there. Looked like he was going to catch it. Came in and short hopped it. If that ball scoots by, the Twins really have something going, but he made a nice play. Nothing Vargas could do.
And there's a ball in the dirt blocked by McCann. Hicks third at bat. He struck out in the 2nd, hit a fly ball to left in the 5th, and what we've seen from Hicks from the left side, the side that he really struggled with, he really kind of pumps his hands and takes a stride now from the left side, and it really worked for him at AAA, and Twins would like for it or that to work in this at bat.
Well, the thing that I noticed last time, I really don't like it when a hitter, me included in the old days, would let one pitch change my aggressiveness at the plate. And so the first time Aaron Hicks got all those split fingers, and then he let a fastball get in on him the next time. That's a good swing. Let her go. Until you get 2 strikes, I don't like seeing a hitter take a 2-strike swing, and that's what he did with guys on last time. He was so concerned about that split finger that he's waiting, and got jammed on the fastball. Time to get jammed on a fastball is with 2 strikes when you're protecting against a split finger. Until you get 2 strikes, you got a better chance of hitting a fastball than the splitter. You don't look for the fastball and hit it.
1-1 to Hicks. High fly left center field. Cespedes chasing it. Under it. End of the inning. The Twins get another hit. 3rd inning in a row they've had a hit. Left a runner. Thank you, Anthony. The Indians trying to avoid their 20th loss of the season. Twins took 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. 1 strike to Yoenis Cespedes. 1 for 2 on the night, and now outside. Gibson with, as you see, 92 pitches. Swing and a miss.
That pitch right there is one of the reasons Kyle Gibson has become more consistent, and therefore the results indicative of how good his stuff is. He's throwing that changeup more and more in all different kinds of counts now. It's such a great equalizer. It's a great pitch, and I credit Neil Allen with how well the Twins starting pitchers especially are doing by throwing more changeups. We've seen it with Mike Pelfrey, that splitter, really turning things around for Mike. Gibson's using it more, and he's got a good one. He's been encouraged to use it. It's really successful.
Another off-speed pitch, another tapper foul.
Trevor May's got a good changeup. But Gibson especially, the one thing that we've seen is all 3 of his pitches, fastball, slider, changeup, he's using them all in different counts, and he's throwing them for strikes or around the strike zone.
And now he's struck out 3 of the last 4 batters. Castellanos will bat. Here's our Grand Casino story of the game.
The only run so far, a low fastball just hit like a laser out of right field by J.D. Martinez. Other than that, Kyle Gibson has been sensational, throwing all his pitches for strikes and picking it in the field. Great double play there, but Alfredo Simon has been that little bit much better.
First pitch strike to Castellanos. 4 strikeouts now for Gibson in 6 1/3 innings. So that's right about where he's been in his big league career. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
Castellanos, you see, and that swing right there. Another hitter like J.D. Martinez that comes from underneath the ball a little bit. Good low ball hitter. That's where he wants it. Change-up, pretty good pitch to those guys. He struck out Martinez and got Castellanos out ahead because they want the ball down low, looking for the fastball.
1-2.
Tried to go back with the same changeup. When you watch J.D. Martinez hit, you watch this guy Castellanos hit there. They're coming from below the ball and trying to lift pretty aggressively. It's a low ball hitter swing.
And Castellanos just got a piece of it. Pitches for Gibson. Good strike to ball ratio, nearly 70 strikes in the 100 pitches. That's a foul ball, wide of third. And win or lose here tonight, Gibson will have put together 6 consistent starts. Again, the one that didn't qualify as a quality start, he had 5 innings, just 1 run allowed against the Royals, and then rough start to the 6th inning, and he was out of there. And now 4 of the last 5 batters have struck out.
And you told me he couldn't strike anybody off. You told me at the very beginning of the game. Here's the pitch that will get it for him right there. That's a nice slider, and this is a little microcosm, this at bat against Castellanos, of what Kyle Gibson has done so well in this game in particular, and for the last 5 or 6 starts. All of his pitches, Castellanos saw fastballs, he saw changeups, he struck out on a slider, all of them down, all of them in good spots.
And getting ahead of just about everybody. Yep. Strike 1. McCann over 2. Struck out to end the 2nd and grounded out to end the 4th.
When Gibson gets ahead of everybody, just as last year, he was darn near unhittable. The rub came when he didn't have his command, wasn't getting ahead. The difference this year, he hasn't had this great a command every start, but he's been able to get himself back into counts when he got behind, or when guys got on, he was able to come back and get double play ground balls and get out of innings. He wasn't able to do that last year, and just dominated him this inning.
Struck out the side. He has the same number of strikeouts as Alfredo Simon does here tonight. A really good 7th inning for Kyle Gibson. Well, we'll see if the Twins can string something together here against Alfredo Simon. Danny Santana will lead things off for the Twins in the 8th. This game's right there for the Twins to win, but they gotta get something done here.
They got to figure him out here just a little bit.
Santana jabs at it. I'm guessing the Twins are, and this is just from the top of my head, about 1 for 70 in bunt hit attempts.
Well, it's not an easy thing to do, but if you work at it, the one thing that you have to be able to do is keep your head still and watch the ball hit the bat. And to a man, the Twins, when they try to bunt, are running too soon. I wish they would watch my old teammate Rodney Carew, old films of him bunting, because Rod was never in a hurry until after the ball was down on the ground, after he bunted it. Then he ran like crazy, but he would take the time to get the ball down in the spot that he wanted to, and then dare somebody make a great play to throw him out, rather than saying I have to run fast here right away. You got to get the ball down. You got to get it where you want it.
2-1. And a drive to right center field. Martinez headed back. He's not going to get it. Nearly cleared the fence. Santana around second. On his way to third. He missed a home run by a matter of feet. And the tying run is 90 feet away. And the Twins are thinking of maybe reviewing. I'm not sure where the ball hit. It carried much farther than I thought.
Oh, he climbed all over that ball. He would just absolutely hammered it, and good for him. Get everything out of your mind, look for a low fastball and kill it. That's just exactly what he did. He got it and smoked it.
A foot from clearing the fence. The infield in, tying run at third. Dozier at the plate. He singled his last time up. To right field. J.D. Martinez with a catch. Santana bluffing the throw is up the line, 1 down. Dozier hit his ball hard, but right at a charging right fielder, 1 away.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC. That ball was scalded as well. That's really unfortunate for Brian Dozier and the Twins. He did his job right there. He hit a rocket to the outfield. And as fast as Danny Santana is with nobody out, where Martinez caught that ball, you just can't send him there.
Infield and 1 out. Hunter at the plate. 1 for 22 against the Tigers this year. Taken low, ball 1. The last time the Twins had a runner at third base, a similar spot, but the runner was Vargas, and he could not score on a short fly ball to left. Now it's Santana, and it wouldn't take much to get the tying run in at all. One and 0. Swing and a miss. Foul ball. 1-1.
Torrey had a good swing at that. Got the big end of the bat right to the ball. The ball had some pretty good late movement. 92-mile-an-hour fastball with some little bit of sink on it. They haven't seen that kind of movement from Simon up until this point. Fastball's been pretty straight, or cutters. Torrey was right on that one. Just ball dove below his bat just a little bit.
That's to center. Goes coming in. He makes the catch. Santana's going to try to score.
Yeah, you gotta try there.
And the throw sailing wide, and Hunter brings the run in with a short fly ball to center field.
Well, that's a good call by third base coach Gene Glenn. Really good speed, 1 out. You can't leave the guy out there and hope anybody brings him a 2 out. You got to gamble there, and Go's not the best of throwers, so they had things going for him in their favor on this one. Torrey fights the ball off to center field. Good at bat, hit the ball in the center of the diamond, then used Danny's speed to make Go's rush the throw. Not the best thrower in the outfield in the league, and that's a good gamble, and it paid off.
Here's Mauer, bases empty, 2 out. Joel for 3. Up and away, ball 1. As the Twins have won series here recently, one thing they've discovered, the other teams, the teams they've been playing, have flaws, including the Tigers, and one of their flaws, middle and short relief. Not their closer, but pretty much everybody in between has had their issues. And so here's Simon, who's, well, he was overpowering in the first 3 innings, but he's been anything but since then. He hasn't struck out anybody since Dozier's strikeout for the 2nd out of the 3rd inning. Jabba Chamberlain's had some issues. He's warming up. 1-1 to Mauer. To left field, and down in front of left fielder Cespedes, and the Twins have been hitting the ball increasingly harder with every inning against Simon, and now here comes Brad Ausmus. It'll be a quick trip to the mound, but he's going to take Simon out of the game and bring in Jabba Chamberlain, with the Twins scoring finally here in the 8th, an earned run in Detroit. And the go-ahead run is at first with 2 outs. It's been a pitcher's duel, and we're tied at 1.
Torrey Hunter drove in that tying run with a sacrifice fly. I talked to him before the game about returning here to Detroit, and he said there was a lot of emotion the first time he came back here, first week of the season, but he said this time feels different. I don't feel all the nostalgia. I don't feel all the emotion. This trip is about playing well, about winning games, and it is all business. Torrey also pointed out how different the Twins are right now. They figured a few things out, or he said we're playing good baseball, and only about 10% of our thought process is about the way we played here before. I asked him about the other 90, what's in the front of their minds. He said winning baseball games, and that is it, Dick and Ruff.
Well, they'd like to do that here. Thank you, Marty. Nice run the Twins needed to get a run in the 8th, and now Jabba Chamberlain, who's been very disappointing for the Tigers this time around. Opponent batting average of .382. He was in there for the big White Sox comeback last week when they got 6 straight hits. Here's Plouffe. Strike on the outside corner. Plouffe 0 for 2 with a walk against Alfredo Simon. Outside, 1-1.
I would think that this would be a little more to the Twins' liking. These at bats they'll have against Jabba Chamberlain, a little bit more like overhand country hardball, and Twins are pretty good at that kind of baseball.
Fouled back, 1-2. Well, the Twins had a great scoring chance in the 2nd. Didn't score. Leadoff double in the 5th. Didn't score. Got Dozier into scoring position after a leadoff single in the 6th. Didn't score. Finally, Santana's leadoff triple that missed, clearing the fence in deep right center by about a foot. Ends up coming in on Hunter's short fly ball. 1-2 to the Twins cleanup batter. Strike him out. Plouffe is gone. The Twins tie it up in the top of the 8th. We're even at 1 on a chilly night at Comerica Park. Well, thank you very much. Blaine Boyer out of the Twins bullpen. He'll face Jose Iglesias, Anthony Goes, Ian Kinsler. Boyer has been outstanding. He's put together 10 straight scoreless outings. Iglesias 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Strike at the knees. Really tough against right-handed or left-handed batters, I should say. Not sure why that would be, but left-handers hitting just 143 against him. And a chopper. And Santana in the hole, has no play. And the leadoff man is on in the 8th. The bullpen, one of the reasons why the Twins have climbed above the 500 mark.
Yeah, they've all been terrific, and it's been either to keep the Twins in the game when the Twins needed to come back from behind, or to close out the games when the Twins have taken a lead. They've been outstanding.
Now Anthony goes. Plouffe in on the grass at third. In Boyer's case, he said a slight mechanical adjustment has allowed him to get the ball down where he wants to keep it. See, the bullpen's been the envy of just about everybody in baseball since the end of April.
Here's a situation, the same two guys we were talking about, the sacrifice bunt. I think the manager's got to make something happen here. Something's got to, yep.
That's going to be a tough play to make. Out at first base. We'll see if the Tigers challenge. A very close play and a throw that nearly hit the runner. One down for now. So a chopper for a base hit. A bunt. And the Tigers are going to challenge it, I believe. And the fans are cheering challenges now like they used to cheer a managerial ejection. Dozier did a nice job catching it and hanging on to that ball. But if the catch is made when it hits his glove there, looks like he might be ruled safe, but I was wrong on the other challenge. And it looks like Goza's foot was on the bag by the time the ball hit Dozier's glove.
That's what it looks like from what we've seen. They're showing it on the big screen here at the ballpark. The fans sure think so. That bunt was right in no man's land. You really would rather have your catcher take it out.
Showing a replay on the big board here. I think he's out.
Yeah, I think he might be out.
The replay that they're showing here at Comerica Park suggests that they made the right call. And as you've rolled the lineup over here, and it's such a huge call, the right call eventually will be made. But when you're dealing with the likes of Cabrera and Martinez, getting it out here would mean one less of those guys you got to face with a guy in scoring position. So we'll see what the call is. Out. The call stands. The sacrifice succeeds, but on a very close play again. Goza has been involved in both of these, both in the 5th inning and now in the 8th. He's called out.
I think that is all credit to Brian Dozier. It looked like he might have been safe because Brian caught the ball, actually finished catching it behind the runner. If you watch right here, Brian leans in, catches the ball, and his glove goes behind the runner. I think that's was influencing of it, looking like he was the throw was late. But Brian did a terrific job of catching that ball clearly before Goza's foot hit the base, and then continued with his glove behind the runner. Nice play.
Iglesias at second, one out. Kinsler at the plate. Strike one. Boyer has been so good. And now he's got to come up with maybe the biggest 2 outs of his season here. Getting Kinsler and then Cabrera.
Well, this is huge right here. You got to get Kinsler, you walk Cabrera, take your chances with Martinez hitting left-handed where he has not swung the bat well. This is the big out right here, in my view.
good in spring training. We know that doesn't count. He had a rough first couple of appearances with the Twins during the regular year, but he's been outstanding ever since. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. 1-1. Hits are even at 6 apiece. Nice block by Suzuki. 2-1. And as you pointed out, the importance of getting Kinsler, because then you've got a base open with 2 outs and the opportunity to walk the next batter.
Right. This is really the key at bat of the ball game. Kinsler very, very tough out. So it's big. You got to get second out and first base open when Cabrera walks up there.
Foul back. 2-2.
Good pitch there. 94 in, running in on his hands. Real good pitch. Yeah, here's one of those dangerous situations where he's got a slider. He could get him out probably with a slider down and away, but with 2-2, you don't want to go to 3-2, and that's the tendency. That's the time pitchers have a tendency to just kind of throw a slider over the middle of the plate. He's got to make a quality pitcher with that slider, like it's 0-2 if he's going to throw it.
Jammed it.
Great pitch.
Iglesias stays at second. That ball ran up and in, and Kinsler stepped into it and shattered his bat. 2 down.
Hard movement right there. I'm glad he didn't go to the slider. I'm glad he stayed in that with that running fastball. Watch this ball run in hard on Kinsler. No chance.
See if Suzuki gets down into a crouch. I suspect not. They will intentionally walk Miguel Cabrera to put runners at first and second for Victor Martinez.
And the reason this makes so much more sense now this year than they probably would have done it last year too. One of the reasons why Martinez drove in over 100 runs, but hitting in the 160s left-handed this year because of that bad left knee doesn't mean he can't get a hit. Doesn't mean that he won't do a job here. But your odds are eminently better here pitching to Victor Martinez as a left-handed batter rather than Miguel Cabrera, obviously.
And a reminder about the broadcast auction as Martinez will take his time coming to the plate. And again, the radio broadcast experience getting a higher bid than the TV broadcast experience. And I know those radio guys, they're not providing free hot dogs for the inning you're up in the booth. So go ahead and bid. And, of course, all the money going to the Twins Community Fund. Martinez tonight is 0 for 3 from the left side of the plate. And on the season, he has 12 hits in 75 at-bats. 11 singles and a double. And Boyer's going to try to get him here and strand a couple of runners in the bottom of the 8th. Slow breaking ball over for strike 1.
I love that pitch. That's the last thing that Victor's got on his mind right there. He's been watching this guy pitch to other hitters. Hard running fastball, little slider. There's a pitch that not only gets him strike 1, but gets him strike 1 with a pitch that now Victor's got to think about that pitch in his mind too.
Ground ball to short. Santana has it to the bag. Boyer pitches around the chopper for the infield hit. We head to the 9th, tied at 1. Kurt Suzuki will start the ninth for the Twins. Tonight, Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus highlights on tonight's MLB games. You can see Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1. See it simulcast right here on Fox Sports North. Tonight, no longer a save opportunity chance for the home team. So their closer, Joakim Soria, will come out of the pen to pitch to the Twins in the ninth. It'll be Kurt Suzuki, Kenny Vargas, Eduardo Escobar due up. Suzuki's hit the ball hard twice. A double to right center in the second. Fly ball to right in the fourth. And then he lined out to left fielder Cespedes in the seventh.
And has 3 hits and 10 at-bats against Soria. So we'll see if Kurt can get something going on here. Soria got all the pitches. He throws a fastball, a cut fastball, a bigger slider than the cutter, a slower, bigger breaking curveball, and a changeup.
Bouncer to short, hit right to Iglesias. One down. It'll bring up Vargas. This game, not unlike the last game the Tigers played on Sunday night against the Royals. It was 1-1. Going to the bottom of the ninth, the skies opened up, a rain delay of a little less than 2 hours. Then the Royals scored in the 10th. The Tigers didn't. First extra inning game for the Tigers, and they lost it 2-1. Be a shame if that happened to him again. Vargas with 2 hits, both of them going to the opposite field, and he takes strike 1 over the inside corner.
Kenny Vargas never seen Soria before. Takes the first pitch. Get an idea about his release point, where he's going to be looking for the ball, what kind of velocity is there.
On the outside corner.
When Soria's going well, that's exactly, those 2 pitches are indicative of what he can do. He believes he can really locate the ball. He did there. Fastball on the inside corner, fastball on the outside corner. Going away again.
Joe Nathan got 1 save for the Twins. It came on opening day. Torrey Hunter's disputed check swing. And then Nathan ended up having his second Tommy John surgery. 2-2. And the Tigers had no choice but to hand the ball to Soria as their closer, and he's been outstanding. He was outstanding with the Royals, and now he's the guy at the end of the game for the Tigers. 2-2 to Vargas. Fouled back.
Kenny got a pitch right there with 2 strikes in the middle of the zone. That's the one he wanted to hit. I'm thinking.
Lifted foul down the line. You ever seen a game turn for a starting pitcher the way it did for Alfredo Simon? He struck out 6 of the first 10 batters, then didn't strike out anybody in the next 20 plate appearances.
You know what's funny about that too, Dick, is it happens a lot where at the same time pitchers are really good and the hitters aren't having a good plan against them, and then that kind of switches around.
On the outside corner, 2 down.
Corner, that's Soria right there. But Simon was getting everybody out on that split finger, showing him a fastball and throwing a lot of split fingers as we watch Soria paint the outside corner. Right there, nasty pitch. Probably outside, but hard not to feel like you have to at least make contact with that. That's a tough pitch.
Here's Escobar. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, 1 strike.
But back to Simon, then the switch almost flipped, and he quit throwing that split finger very much. And when he did throw it, he wasn't throwing it for a strike. And at the same time, the Twins hitters did a better job of laying off of it. And
just outside, 1-1.
It's funny how the complete opposites can happen right during the same game for both the pitcher and the hitters.
1-2. And Soria quickly dispatches the Twins with a couple of strikeouts and a 1-2-3 ninth. Pitching to J.D. Martinez to start the bottom of the ninth. Slow breaking ball missing. That's the same pitch he started Victor Martinez with for a called strike. This one just off the plate. Ball one. J.D. Martinez, Yoenis Cespedes, and Nick Castellanos lined up to face Blaine Boyer. Inside now 2-0. Martinez hit an opposite field home run against Kyle Gibson in the fourth. This is his fourth hit since April 29th. To right. Hunter near the line. Now coming in, makes the catch, one away. Not advised to fall behind somebody like Martinez. 2-0, but Boyer got the job done. Time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. One of the best starters for the Tigers this year hasn't been Verlander. He hasn't even pitched. Hasn't been Price. It's been Kyle Lobstein. And the Twins will see him tomorrow. Cespedes the batter, and then Romine will hit. He replaced Castellanos defensively a couple innings ago. Down and away, ball one. Twins won't face David Price. He was supposed to start on Thursday in the series finale, but he stepped on a bat here, backing up home plate. Slight hamstring strain, so the Tigers have pushed him back a couple of days. Ripped to left center field. That ball is scalded and almost made it to the fence on the fly, and Cespedes has a one-out double. 2 hits for Cespedes.
And scalded was the right word. My goodness, he hit that ball about 15 feet off the ground and almost hit the fence. Absolutely extended on one. You see right here, that ball, Danny Santana's first reaction almost is to jump for it a little bit. It was that low and carried all the way to the warning track on the fly.
Romine due up, and instead it will be Rajai Davis. So the veteran Davis, right-handed batter, will face Boyer. With one out and the winning run at second. On the outside corner with a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Carsoup.com trivia question: which Tigers player? I'm just going to go with Mr. K-Line. And it is with 34. One strike to Davis. Jammed him in a little roller. Dozier doesn't have too much free time. Davis retired by a step, and the winning run now 90 feet away. Boyer's come up with some awesome pitches to get some weak ground ball action.
Yeah, it's that running fastball, and it's moving a lot. He's throwing at 93, 94. It starts off on just on the middle side of the plate, just on the middle side of inside, and just runs in on the hands.
Oh, Boyer left two men on to retire the Tigers in the eighth, hoping to leave Cespedes at third. Two away. McCann, the batter. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Suzuki held it. Twins didn't get the call. 1-0. You can see Boyer. You can read his lips. Where was that?
Where was that? Well, he threw it on the other side of the plate than the umpire was expecting. Holy cow, it was right down the middle. And plenty high enough.
And now 2-0. McCann, the 8th place hitter. Iglesias, the 9th place hitter. Two and 0 to McCann. To right field. Hunter coming in. Makes the catch at his knees. Torrey Hunter saves the game with a charging catch toward the line. Long Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Dick Bramer, Roy Smalley, Marty Gellner here in Detroit. James McCann probably thought he'd doinked a single to right, but Torrey Hunter, 39 years of age, was able to close on it, make the catch to send us to the 10th inning. Angel Nesbitt comes out of the Tiger bullpen. Let's take another look at the last out of the night.
This looked like a winning base hit all the way. Torrey did close on it, and one thing you can say about Torrey Now, if he gets to the ball's going to go in his glove. He's really, really good still at snatching that thing out of the air.
Couple of switch hitters, Hicks and Santana. Hicks 0 for 3 in his return to the big leagues. Again, he hit very well in AAA when he was up here, and I'm sure he did it in the minor leagues too. Might be one of the better bunters the Twins have. The Tigers have Hernan Perez at third base and Angel Nesbitt on the mound. Hicks, Santana, and Dozier here in the 10th. Strike. Seen Hicks, and it's almost like he's cocking his bat with one quick snap of the wrist just as the pitch is being delivered. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Little change up there, and you're right. Aaron Hicks is doing something with his hands to, I think, is just as a timing mechanism to remind himself to get back behind his swing, get back on his back leg. He looks much more aggressive left-handed. Little snap and then get back, get ready to go.
A few years ago, Tigers had Gary Sheffield toward the end of his career, and there was a lot of bat movement. But every time the pitch was delivered, the bat was in the hands were in a good hitting position. 1-2. Little chopper, swinging bunt. Perez, bare hands, fires, not in time. Not a bunt per se, but a chopper that looked like a bunt, and the leadoff man is on.
Perez made a nice play, did about everything he could, barehanded the ball cleanly, got rid of the ball. Aaron Hicks really busting down that line. Good pitch. He fights off the two-strike outside fastball and just beats the throw. Watch Hicks get down the line. He can still do this. Strong move out of the box, and he can motor.
Now some tools to work with for Paul Molitor here. You've got speed at first. Santana is going to draw Perez in about 60 feet from home plate as the pitch is delivered. Nearly to the backstop. Backhanded by McCann. Ball 1. As the pitch was delivered, Cabrera was charging from first base. Nesbitt's been awfully good for the Tigers. And he'll lob one to first. Santana in the air. One out. Another poor bunt by the Twins. One down. That'll bring up Dozier. Hicks has a base stealer, is 13 for 19 at this level.
So you watch Danny Santana square around. The ball is high and he kind of drops the bat. You got to get to the top of the strike zone with your bat so everything's coming down. You got to bunt the top of the ball down into the ground, and Danny flinched a little bit. His bat was a little low, flinched underneath it, popped the ball up.
Unable to sacrifice Hicks to second. We'll see if the Twins try to steal him there. Nesbitt's pretty quick home with a little slide step, and he delivers strike 1. Dozier with a single, hit a ball right on a line to right fielder Martinez after Santana's triple leading off the 8th. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. third Detroit reliever. Taken low. It's a fastball at 90 miles per hour, but I don't know. There's something curious about his delivery that seems deceptive.
Yeah, he's got a little hunch over as he comes to the mound, hides the ball a little bit.
1-2.
You see it bend at the waist and come to the plate in a very quick motion. It's I would think if you're at the plate, not having seen him much before, but I would think if you're at the plate, a little difficult to time that quick little move to the little herky-jerky quickness to the plate. Just a little different. You get used to him after you see him a while, but if you haven't seen him a lot, it'd be a little different.
Just off the outside corner. 2-2.
That's way outside.
Hicks with a good lead at first. In the dirt now, 3-2. Hunter on deck.
Ball down in the dirt. Good backhand pick there. That's a tough play for a catcher right there, because you have to be exactly right about short hopping that ball. If it bounces out a little bit ahead of you, it gets over the top of your glove. It might go to the screen or bounce away enough for the runner to get to second. I believe Hicks will take off here. 3-2.
There he goes. Swung on and missed a high fastball, and Hicks is out at second. The Dozier chased ball 4. Santana didn't get the bunt down, and the Twins can't do anything with Hicks's leadoff single. And with the extra innings, more opportunities to bid in the broadcast auction. We're tied with the radio boys now at $1,200. Look at the price on that Twins Fender Stratocaster guitar. So still opportunities for you to bid as we take this game to the bottom of the 10th. And the Twins hand the ball to Ryan Presley, who will face Jose Iglesias, Anthony Goes, and Ian Kinsler. Iglesias hit by a pitch in the 5th. Then he hit a chopper over the head of Trevor Plouffe for a leadoff hit in the 8th, but only got as far as second base. Good 2 innings by Blaine Boyer, and now Ryan Presley. Down and in, ball 1. Presley's been good since his recall. 6 2/3 innings, 5 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Just 1 walk.
Ran into just a little control problem the first inning he pitched the other day in Cleveland. But other than that, he's been very, very good. Good fastball, good overhand curve. Been throwing strikes. When he throws strikes, he's got a nice mix of pitches.
Fastball, curve, and slider. There's a curve over.
Really good.
He's showing me his grip. It's a pretty unusual grip that he uses on the curveball. 1-2. Curve chopped to short. Santana fires across to Mauer, 1 away. And that'll bring up Anthony Goes. Goes laid down a sacrifice, and it looked as if the Tigers' ability to lay down a sacrifice might have been the difference in the game, with the Twins not bunting well again here tonight. Goes is 1 for 3. He's been involved in 2 challenges, and he and the Tigers have lost both of them. Down low, ball 1. In the 5th inning, Twins challenged an attempted double play that they had. Kyle Gibson with a nice sprawling pickup of a low throw, and the Twins challenge got the call overturned. That's to left toward the gap, down for a hit. Escobar gets there, but Goes flies to second. It's another 1-out double for Detroit. Goes is, when he's allowed to swing away, he's been wearing out left field. Lined out to Escobar to start the game, a single to left, and now a double to left.
Yeah, classic low ball hitting left-hander swing right there. He waits a long time. Looks like he's trying to hit the ball in left field anyway. That's the way he's directed the ball the whole game. Got a low fastball to his liking, hit it in the gap.
And now Kinsler's up again with a man at second and 1 out. In the 8th inning, came up in the same spot, and Blaine Boyer jammed him and got a weak grounder back to the mound. Cabrera on deck. Again, this is a key man to get because of who's in the on deck circle. Foul back. Kinsler tried to end it. Strike 1.
Yeah, we're in the exact same situation, and if he gets Kinsler, he's going to have to get Victor Martinez again, almost assuredly. If he doesn't get Kinsler, we got problems.
Kinsler doubled in the 1st inning. Since then has gone 0 for 3. Breaking ball, short center field, a base hit, and Goes will score. Sunday night, the Tigers lost in 10 innings, and tonight they win in 10 innings. Anthony LaPanta, Twins not doing much scoring again here in Detroit, and they end up losing another 1-run ball game.